Hello there, it's me again. I'm finally arrived for the weekly live or video depending on where and when you watch this. My name's Karen Griffith. I'm an inner freedom and embodiment coach. Welcome, and thank you for your support and views. So on Facebook, I announced the topic would be on an area where I kind of went into a rabbit hole in my exploration, because it also draws upon experiences from when I was a marketer, direct marketing specifically, the relevance of which is understanding a bit about psychology, and you also got to learn about human behaviour, what prompted people to perform desirable actions or behaviours to increase our chances of selling. Anyway, back to the topic at hand and how it relates. It makes sense that we're in the era that we're in, the information era, but also as I'm not sure the best way to phrase it, but I'm just going to get to it, the attention economy. Because literally we have so much information available to us. I won't get into the area of misinformation or anything like that, because I don't believe focusing on that will add any more other than or being aware of it. But the concern and a place to look for those that follow me, my ladies in particular, who I'm here to support, is understanding how it influences your bandwidth and capacity to be present to what is. Basically, it makes sense why there's overwhelm, confusion, almost we're paralysed to make the right choices and decisions in our best interest if we're not aware of ourselves and what is coming up for us in terms of outdated beliefs, what I like to call RBS. Outdated meaning it's no longer serving us. It could be false beliefs that we cobble together based on our past experiences, memories, things we were told through our childhood or things we've learned, how we interpreted our experiences, old thoughts being ones that we continue to engage with because they've been on repeat. I've mentioned on previous videos how we do have a tendency to ruminate, and if we're not aware of it, we're not aware of our patterning, then we can get into certain thought loops. It's not something I've brought into the conversation or into my videos as much. Maybe it's something that I'll talk about in the future. Sorry, I know this is a bit, I just realised the video's a bit softer than usual, but it's intentional because I'm close to bed and I'm getting up really early in the morning. So I don't want to be overstimulated before I do so. And also understanding, being aware of, there is a new way of being. I sort of touched on it. I haven't gone into it in depth because this is something I'm trying to articulate in a way as I make better sense of it myself. But ultimately, I would distill it into mind over matter. The new way of being is operating from the mind space, because this is a key change as we evolve as human beings. So the context, we're overstimulated by so many different sources and things. We're also distracted and dealing with multiple distractions. We're overwhelmed by the illusion of choices, and we're overwhelmed by choice, because the interesting thing about that lends itself to the reason why it influences your bandwidth and capacity to be present to what is. Often we're presented with so many choices, but not necessarily the best and right choices for us, or those that are in the best interest as a collective. And the reason why I state that is, think about your experiences in supermarkets. Stay with me here. When you go into a supermarket, you are literally bombarded by messaging, right? It's clearly designed in a certain way, and this is the environment you step into willingly. And there are aisles designed to flow in a certain way to get you to go up and down each aisle. Now, that's probably all to encourage you to go in a specific direction, whether you're aware of it or not. And I can remember, as I thought about what I wanted to share, a past, one of my past partners really didn't like the fact that I would want to go up and down each aisle. This was very me thing to do. He was very much concerned with going in and out of the store as quickly as possible. I, on the other hand, like to take my time, going up and down each aisle. So clearly there was a bit of conflict there in the approach. What are you getting at, Karen? Now, or make your point more succinctly. But it's interesting, right? The focus to go in for the specific reason you're going in for, and that's it. And also to manage the possible distractions you'd be experiencing whilst in the supermarket, because you're bombarded with so many offers. You'll also notice when you go, if it has a bakery section, the smells, which are very intentional. If you go past the meat counter, which is very eye-catching and enticing, you can select the meat you wish to purchase as opposed to pre-packaged meats. And of course, there's a premium price for that. And in the same way, there is a premium price, there is a cost to maintaining outdated beliefs. There's a cost and price for old thoughts. There is a cost and price for going against clear change or the need for change, because it's going to happen whether you like it or not. The quote I included on the post is, the only constant is change. What's also to be under consideration is the speed of change is getting quicker and it's outside of our control. What we can control is ourselves, because we can't always control our environments. It's like going back to supermarkets, you can choose which supermarket you shop in, and that will be based on a number of factors. But you can't control the environment inside of it, other than the strategy my ex-partner at the time used, which was literally to go in and out and for something specific, which makes a whole load more sense to me now. So it's understanding, based on what I've already said, what is causing you to react, what is influencing, what is getting you to be impulsive, reactive. I've mentioned this on previous lives. What are your impulses when it comes to your behaviours, your habits? That I've provided separate videos on that. And sometimes how we arrive at that knowledge, it is useful to review your tapes and see what is coming up for you in terms of patterning, cycles, loops. As always, the invitation for a conversation with me. So I'm mirroring back what is said, asking questions that will arrive you at your own conclusions. And this connects very much to the body and mind, because some of which will be a physiological response in the body. How we interpret it using the mind is key, so that we can make sense, because we can't change what we're not aware of. So again, we're in the information era, the attention economy. These effects can be seen in our relationships, daily lives, and even our physical health. I'll say that again. These effects can be seen in our relationships, daily life, and even physical health. I'll take a bit of a moment there. So it's resulting, if we're not managing it, we're not addressing it, difficulties with attention and focus. because it's split, right? Although I would say the caveat, women do have the capacity to multitask. Men typically will have a singular focus because they're more linear. We are more sorry, I was thinking, I've lost the word for it now. Whereas they're linear, we're more circular, we're more fluid in our experience. It can be, if I manage, and this is more resulting from big T's, big traumas, intrusive thoughts. It also, and if you are experiencing intrusive thoughts, ones that are strong in nature, evoke strong emotions which do cause you to be reactive more than what is normal, and how you would understand that is speaking to a professional trained therapist or counsellor. And I would encourage you to do that if intrusive thoughts is something that you're aware of or not aware of, but have an idea that it could be a possibility for you. The ability to learn and process information. I'm going to give you the relevance to this because, again, going back to my marketing days, I started to remember information I was taught to consider in terms of rising when we created our messaging to encourage the desired actions from a direct marketing point of view to encourage sales. One of the things we had to consider was rising above the noise, rising above the clutter, because of the exposure, the known exposure we are exposed to as human beings in terms of media consumption. And I believe it's relevant because I can't remember the exact number, but it was around, and this is from media analysis, we're exposed to something like 5,000 messages per day. And when I drawed in the context of supermarket, and there was rationale to my thinking there, the next time you walk into a supermarket, observe how many messages you see based on one aisle alone. I'm sure if you were to comment on it, you would say, wow, I didn't even think about it. I'm sure, and there's a reason for that too. But clearly, these are things operating with design. So then the question is it designed to serve you, or in other words, distract you if you discern the difference? So it's what I'm talking about here is your environment, the stimulus, which can evoke the behavioural reactions. And the mention of outdated beliefs, because outdated beliefs, the BS, which is not moving you towards what is wanted, what is more desirable, better outcomes, better or improved results. Hopefully you're getting the relevance of why reviewing your tapes, sort of what's in the rear mirror, the past stuff, the significant experiences has shaped the BS, the things that we told. It's to do with the stuff we need to unlearn as much as relearn, because we can be hyper-focused on learning stuff, and hopefully there'll be something I'm going to drop that's going to sort of have I'm trying to get a light bulb moment going for you, and also a perspective, a different way of thinking about things, so that you, on a broader level, understand the more that you're present to what is, because that's all there is, what is. Past, history, been and gone, can't be changed. However, we do have the opportunity to reframe, accept what is. We do have the opportunity to say, I can learn, I can extract the lesson, I can see the gift now because I am who I am today, and redirect the energy somewhere where it's more serving you, more purposeful. I like to think that I demonstrate what is possible based on the work I've done on myself, and what I chose to do in terms of becoming more conscious, more aware of my behaviours, my habits, and choosing differently things like places, choosing differently people to a degree, so that I can gain greater clarity, so that I can be better informed, increase my knowledge, increase my bandwidth, my capacity for happiness. I can do it without unlearning, relearning stuff. And again, I'd like you, again, on the broader, it's sort of like zoom out a little bit, think about your sensory, emotional environment, because you can experience specific emotions, or often relating to past experiences, like the environment, your surroundings. Supermarket is a clear one of that. Emotional, I've got an example, Big Brother. If you ever watch Big Brother, they were always, and that was a social experiment. It was based on Stanford experiment. I think that Stanford experiment was done based in 1970s. I could be wrong. I won't go into it now, but Big Brother was born, I believe, out of the Stanford experiment. So it's understanding the stimulus can affect how you react. Social triggers, again, Big Brother all mentions an example of that. I believe it's still going on. I stopped watching it a long time ago. a very long time ago, because I don't watch TV as much. It's rarely, tends to be intentional, and if I do, it's for specific reasons. Sometimes it's to relax, but that's becoming decreasingly an option for me the more I understand myself. That side, social triggers, for example, this involves your interactions with others and situations. Again, it all lends itself to what I'm saying, the information age, the inputs you're getting, and the attention economy. It's all competing, right? And it's also conflicting. So let me give you a bit of science, because I like to weave this in with a bit of artistry. I know it's really hard to give you the art as I speak, but I like to believe the creativity I bring is trying to draw in the relevance of certain things in a way that hopefully it lands for you the conclusions that you're hopefully drawing for yourself, and also some suggestions, ideas to try on if you're looking to up level. So I mentioned the media analysis stat, 5,000 messages per day. The average person processes 74 gigabytes of information per day. That is the equivalent of 16 movies consumed by various sources. Right there, what is that telling you? 16 movies per day. Process 74 gigabytes of information. Yet, our conscious mind only can handle a fraction of it. Our conscious mind. The human brain can process a staggering 11 million bits of information per second, but only 120 bits per second. I think I wrote there. I'll say that again. The human brain can process a staggering 11 bits of information. Oh, sorry, I must have got that wrong. 11 bits of information per second, but only 100 per day. Right, I'm going to have to circle back on that. Apologies, my writing got messy because I'm basically tired. But 100 bits. I really need... Right, I need to correct that. So if it's 11 bits of information per second, but only 120 bits per day. So conscious processing is 40 to 50 bits. I think that could be a millisecond. Right, let me circle back on that. Still, it doesn't detract from the relevance. It doesn't detract from the relevance of why I'm saying it. The average person today can process as much as 74 gigabytes of information per day. So what I'm telling you is our brains are built to learn and adjust to the changing world. I'm going to pause right there, because the world is changing faster than we're able to keep up. How do I know this? AI, artificial intelligence, we are seeing a reflection in the job market of how things are moving so fast. A lot of skills that were previously required are no longer needed. We are moving into a mind space. It's mind over matter. I'm hearing so many people say this. I'm seeing it because it's fact. It's understanding. Outdated beliefs, ways of doing things no longer work. They're no longer necessary. Doesn't make sense. It's not logical. It's not reasonable. It's no longer reasonable to stay doing the same thing and expect a different result because things have changed. Change is the only constant. So it's focusing on what does matter, doesn't it? Bearing in mind what I gave you as stats, facts. So, conflicting, isn't it? It's challenging, also conflicting, because we're having to dismiss even quicker or ignore what is unimportant to help us have the best behaviours. Remember the important information and learn from mistakes and successes, because both are relevant. I'll say that again. Focus on the things that matter. Dismiss even quicker or ignore what is unimportant to help us have the best possible behaviours and remember the important information and learn from our mistakes and our successes. A useful loop to get into it. Celebrate your wins right there. Celebrate your wins. But also learn from the mistakes. Take time to review your tapes. I say tapes because I'm old school. Being born in the 70s, I can remember the days of recording off of radio tapes. Yeah, I don't miss some things. I don't miss. Anyway, so it was a great era to be in, but also it was a very different world to the one I'm living in now, right? If you remember the tapes day. But, to revert, go back over your tapes. See what's there for you. Be willing to be open to the idea that if you've got outdated beliefs, ones that have not moved you any further forward, if you're not aware what your beliefs are, take the time to learn them the best way. Journaling. Dump onto paper. See what's there for you. Be conscious of what's there for you, because based on that stat right there, I said, conscious processing suggests 40 to 50 bits. You can see also the challenge to learn stuff is going to get in your way if you don't drop the baggage. It is. It's also what is. So what invitations, what does this mean for me, Karen? I've already said quite a lot. learn to relax more. This is something that's worked for me. It's worked a lot, relaxing a lot more. Slowing down so I can pay attention to more important, more meaningful things, because I was a busy person, but was I operating at my best? No, I couldn't have done. It wasn't possible for me until I learned that the root cause of why I was so busy. And once I understood that a bit better for myself, I was able to course correct. I was able to make my adjustments. And some of that meant participating less in certain dynamics, participating less in general, so that I can have the capacity to learn what I needed to learn about myself and how I was relating to others, because that was an important piece of work for me that I undertook, 3 or 4 years ago. And it paid off, because I started to understand how some environments were out of my control, and it became a question of what environments that did support me in the ways that I needed, in the person I was becoming and who I wanted to be, as opposed to the environments that were detrimental, draining, sapping my energy, weren't contributing, taking more than that it was giving me. See what is there for you. So you could be selective, the invitation to be selective on what you can give attention to. This is not a caveat to dismiss certain things. I think the worst thing we can do is to be selective in a way that is in harm to self or others. Be selective in what you give attention to, but first learn what matters do need your attention to, that does need your consideration. So I'm not giving you an get out of jail free card when I say that. Going back to supermarket, learn and understand what distracts you, what prevents you from doing. This is an important shift. I'm going to repeat myself there. Learn and understand what distracts you or prevents you from doing. You'll definitely need a focus, because when you free up your capacity, which the point I said before presents, the inference from that is, I'm not sure if that's the right word to use there, you can extract from that, okay, if I've got my capacity increased because it was diminished for the reasons I said earlier, where should it go? You do need a focus. And I realised that I missed a key point. We are hardwired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Pay attention inwards now. Pain. Pain is useful information. It can be a catalyst for change if directed, if appropriately redirected. What you're saying, Karen, if you can stay with the idea of processing, emotional processing, regulate yourself from a healthier space, so you're not defaulting to survival mode. This is fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And you've minimise your distractions, what's stopping you from doing, getting in your way, which is often ourselves, our self-sabotaging ways of coping, mechanisms, not controlling ourselves, our impulsivity and reactivity. There needs to be a replacement. Habits need to be replaced. The law of replacement. And when you have clarity or seeking to have clarity, what is it I want to do instead? What is it I'm here to create? What is my purpose? Those questions come up for you, and start spending time. It's valuable time. It's investment in yourself. The permission slip is to invest in yourself independent of others. The ways that you want to grow, you're here to grow, you're here to have a human experience, the good, bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and to combine that into something powerful to move you forwards in life. So if you can start to create for yourself a focus for redirecting what was utilised on stuff that is done, over with, you can create such a wonderful, I say this from my experience, you can create wonderful new experiences, different experience, varying experiences. If you think of life like a buffet, because there, you're presented with so many options, choices. The goal isn't to consume as much as possible. You can do that if you want, but eventually it slows you down, right? Because you're full. Maybe an idea is to be more selective. You need to be at a certain point to obviously be able to do this, and then to start to do it with finesse. But you go to the buffet and all of a sudden I'm no longer interested in this. I would like to try this instead because it's more aligned with my values. It's more who I am, because I know who I am, and where I'm going. So you tend to select based on what will give you more, based on your willpower, of course, give you more to fulfill what you're here to create, instead of being motivated by things that are not actually, fear-based, out survival mode. And on that note, I think I'm going to finish up and leave with a final thought, because it was shared with me today. Know thyself. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'd appreciate if you like, comment and share this live or video. If you watch this, I'd also appreciate subscription to my YouTube channel. The links are available in my bio, depending on when you see this, or in the description if you watch the video somewhere else. It will be available to you. I appreciate the support. Also, I offer consultations. It's been a while since I've offered them. I also offer wellness plans, starting from £11.11. I think I've started to promote this. No, I haven't, so I won't mention that. I've also got in my link tree opportunity to tip me, give, offering for the value that I'm sharing, because I do invest a lot of my time in creating content that I believe is unique to the person that I arrived at now. So if you've got that, if you've got the value, fair compensation. It doesn't need to be much, just an acknowledgement of what you've got out of my videos. So that's me done. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do a video next week. In fact, I'm going to give myself another week break because I do have some me time coming up and some family time. So I'm going to honour that fully by giving myself a break from lives to focus on that. So I'll see you in 7 to 10 days' time, depending on when you watch this, of course.